Rolling with the triple C, I'ma make them bend the knee. Rolling with the triple C, don't really count the heat.
So guys, on this episode, I'm going to be breaking down what's going on with the 135 pounds. That's right, I said it. What's going on with Sean O'Malley versus the rematch versus Aljamain Sterling? But what about the #1 contender? And Merab Dvalishvili? Hey, let's not forget about the Triple C. So this episode is brought to you by the one and only Jimmy Bar, the non-GMO bar, the gluten-free bar. That's a great meal replacement that's going to help you lose weight. Again, guys, I use it for my championship fight, and so should you. So make sure to go to your local Walmart store near you and get Yo Jimmy on. So word on the street is Aljamain wants to stay at 135 pounds. What do you guys think about that? Which clearly makes him now the #1 contender. But whatever happened to that talk that whether I win or I lose, I'm going up? You know, where does that put Merab? Where does that put his best friend at? I mean, these are a lot of questions that I have, that a lot of people have, that the UFC probably doesn't even care. Why do I say that? They don't care about Aljamain Sterling. They really don't. You know, I don't think they've ever and this isn't a sting at you, Aljamain. I just don't think the UFC really saw you as a marketing tool. You know, you got wins, and again, you got wins over great competitors, but there was something that was missing with you. And I think it's only for you to kind of know, or the UFC or whatever, the fact that was going on. I will say this, you are a competitor. You know, I was in there with you firsthand. You were able to steal certain rounds, and I'll give them to you. But are you the full package? Will the UFC literally give you a rematch with somebody who just stopped you? Do I believe it was an early stoppage? 100%. 100% it was an early stoppage. I mean, I think Aljamain could have done certain things where he didn't look so dramatic. And I'm a bit bummed out too with referee Mark Goddard, because I think Mark Goddard at that point was, before that point, I just thought the best of him. You know, I've heard of controversial things with him, but I was like, nah, he's good. It was in a certain situation, like with the eye poke of Cormier, he didn't catch it, and I get all that. But the fact that he stopped this fight a little too premature, when you're fighting guys for a world title, the last thing you want, and the referee needs to know, let me get hurt. Allow me to take a few more punches than usual because there's a world title on the line. You know, and being dropped doesn't mean necessarily anything. Now, if you're getting clogged, now if we're to slow-mo everything that just happened, then it'd be a little bit different. But that being said, obviously, Mark, there's nothing that we can do now. I think you're a hell of a referee. But, you know, me, as I consider you a friend, I like you. I still think you're the best referee. That was definitely premature. But that doesn't take the fact that the UFC doesn't like Aljamain. It doesn't take the fact that they are not going to give this dude a rematch against Sean O'Malley. They're just not going to. It's too risky for them. You know, they got the great white hope in Sean O'Malley, this wannabe Irishman that's not even from Ireland, from the land of William Wallace, or maybe it's Scotland. But it's the last thing you want to do is jeopardize and then bring the guy that they were fighting with in the past and then give him another shot at becoming champion. They're not going to do that. But the biggest question that I have is for Merab. Merab, I thought Aljamain was your friend. Are you going to allow him to just to get another title shot and to eventually maybe possibly win and then go up? I mean, he's not going to get it. And I think there's one thing that I could say about Merab. Merab, this isn't a kumbaya match. Stick to your shtick. Stick to your gimmick. Be a competitor. Pick on Sean O'Malley. It's not, oh, congratulations, you are a champion. You are a good guy. I am the #1 contender. I deserve this. We are not. This is an Olympic sport, man. This is the difference between the Olympics and the UFC. The UFC is mixed martial arts, but it's also a marketing company. You have to have the ability to be able to sell a fight. Like you going out and being a nice guy. Like this is where you want to turn up the persona. This is where you want to throw on the jacket and you want to, X, Y, and Z him as much as you can. But the simple fact that you're there telling that he's a nice guy, and you're going and you're doing every media outlet out there. So why is it that you believe it? No, that's not the way to do it. That's not the way to do it. That's not the way to do it because you're not building a storyline. You're just asking him. He's a champion. He's a good person. I saw one of your interviews that had to shut it off because you are the #1 contender. Same reason why the UFC don't want Aljamain and the UFC doesn't want Merab as champion, because it's stale. Can you sell a fight? Can you be that mark? And there are kudos that I will give to Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley could sell a fight. He's got the hair, every once in a while he comes up with good comments. He freaking dresses like a dirty Q-tip. He looks like a walking tampon. But that being said, there's a marketing tool behind it. And guess what, guys? I have friends at ESPN. I'm not going to say who. But Sean O'Malley, you guys want to know what Sean O'Malley's buys did at pay-per-view? He did anywhere between 300,000 to 350. That's it. That's all Sean O'Malley made in pay-per-view buys. All right. Tag ESPN if you like. Tag everybody from ESPN. Is 350,000 pay-per-view buys? Is that a surplus or is that down? The other guy that more likely will probably know is Aljamain Sterling. You see, everybody was projecting that this event was one of the biggest of the year. It's not true. So my question is too for Sean O'Malley: do you have that sauce? Do you have that sauce to sell, to be a pay-per-view superstar? Yeah, you just won the belt, but you would imagine you're fighting in Boston against a current champ who has gone down and got win over legends. How big is the name of Sean O'Malley? Yeah, does he have the following through Instagram? 100%. But my question is can he sell pay-per-views? The next logical thing that I would think, I would insert my name in the hat to fight Sean, especially the fact that we're both from the same city and, our gyms are rivals. The fact that I interrupted, hey, Sean, do you guys remember that? He's stuttering Sean, and I was able to catch him. I was able to catch him slipping. You figured that would be a storyline, especially that other than Marab, because they don't want to give him Marab. Marab to Sean O'Malley. Marab, this is what the UFC don't want somebody that's just going to wrestle. If somebody's just going in there just to wrestle, then man, go back to Georgia, man. Go back to wrestling. Even me as a wrestler, I find it boring. Could I go in there and just start wrestling everybody to death? Yeah. I wouldn't be marketable, nor would I have fun, and I would just probably go back to wrestling. So I'm giving you guys a whole scenario. Number one, Marab, man, your selling skills of you being a nice guy, dude, pick a fight with this dude. Call him everything under the sun. Be a little more like Triple C. Offend him. You're not going to get by being a nice guy. And then number two, Aljamain, you're not getting that title shot, dude. Like when you're not champion, this is the position that I'm in now. The fact that I don't have the belt no more, I don't have the leverage to be able to call my shots. But then again, I go back and you're not going to get the title shot. So that only leaves a few options for Sean O'Malley. He can go the toughest route through the legend route and sell the fight with Triple C, or he could fight the guy who beat him, who stopped him with leg kicks, but then yet again take another L. What is it that Sean's going to do? Because remember, if you're 0-2 against somebody, you're not going to get a rematch. You see, this is why I'm putting my name on the hat, and I'm saying, Sean, when I beat you, I'm going to give you a rematch. But just to the simple fact that Cheeto is not gonna do the same mistakes as Aljamain, he's gonna be good defensively, and he throws a little bit more, and he's gonna kick your leg, and he has endurance on top of that. I don't even like hot Cheetos either. But what I'm saying, what he does have over a guy like Sean O'Malley is will. You guys ever watch the Sean O'Malley fight? Looking at the clock. Against bums, dude. Against guys that do what with all due respect to the dude, but I will call him, a bum. He did beat him, but watch it throughout that fight. He was a punching bag, but Sean O'Malley also was scared because he kept looking at the clock. This is an advantage that Cheeto Vera is going to have on top of Sean O'Malley. And the thing is, Sean, this is something that you have to consider. They're not going to give you a rematch. At this point, you don't. If you lose to somebody 0-2, then we can say, oh, he's privileged. I don't want to say it because I don't want to get canceled. But you see what I'm saying? You're going to be 0-2 against somebody. So I take that back. You have three options. You have me, Cheeto, or Sandhagen, or you wait for Sandhagen. I think Sandhagen's pretty dangerous, a lot more versatile, and he might just take you down the way he took down Brock Font. So these are the options. This is the breakdown of 135 pounds. What's next? Guys, I just laid it out for each and every one of you.